Today, I want to chat with you about the OnePlus A6T I'm holding right here. Globally, it'll be known as the OnePlus 15R, and it's set to launch on December 17th. Lately, I've seen a lot of strong opinions online about the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. People are already posting cloud reviews, judging it purely on specs without actually using the phone. Specs are important, of course, but for me, real-world experience matters way more. At the end of the day, how a phone feels in everyday use is what really counts. So the big question is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 really as underwhelming as some people claim? That's exactly what we're going to find out today. And to do that, we're skipping the benchmark charts. There are plenty of those already. Instead, we're diving straight into real gameplay. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Mickey from TechMakey. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. Let's start with Honor of Kings. Running at 144 FPS, the gameplay feels incredibly smooth, and yes, you can crank everything up to max settings. I played 3 full matches, around 40 minutes total, and the frame rate barely moved. The phone handled heat impressively well too. That high refresh rate really enhances the whole experience. Next up is the much heavier Honkai Star Rail. With the high frame rate mode turned on, it reaches up to 90 FPS. There were tiny dips here and there, but unless you're staring at the FPS counter, you wouldn't even notice. At the standard 60 FPS mode, things stayed stable as well. What surprised me is that the heat and battery drain between 60 FPS and 90 FPS weren't very different. Personally, I think the 90 FPS mode feels better overall. OnePlus clearly knows how to push high frame rate gaming, likely thanks to their custom peak gaming kernel. Moving on to Genshin Impact, the performance was impressive here too. Both 120 FPS and 60 FPS modes stayed fairly stable. Of course, running at 120 FPS brings slightly higher temperatures and power usage, which is expected. I did cool the phone a bit between runs, but even then, the visual difference between 120 FPS and 60 FPS is huge. If you switch from a 120 Hz phone to a 60 Hz one, you feel that drop instantly. As long as power consumption stays reasonable, I'm convinced high frame rate gaming is going to keep growing. After all, 120 Hz screens have been standard for a while now. Now let's talk about Ming Dynasty. With max graphics, 60 FPS, and every effect enabled, the game can be quite heavy. While exploring the open world and fighting enemies, the phone maintained close to 60 FPS with the occasional dip. Nothing out of the ordinary, especially during big animations and special attacks. Temperatures stayed mild at just above 43 degrees Celsius, and power drain was around 10%. For such demanding settings, the results are genuinely impressive. OnePlus seems to have nailed the optimization for complex games. Finally, we had to test 165 Hz gaming. PUBG Mobile hyped it a lot during the launch, so I needed to see it for myself. And wow, the smoothness is on another level. It almost feels unreal. Frame rate stayed close to 165 FPS with barely any noticeable drops. Battery and heat were a bit higher, with temperatures crossing 45 degrees Celsius and around 10% power drain. But keep in mind, this is the very first 165 Hz supported game paired with a 165 Hz smartphone. Considering that, the performance is more than solid. This test actually makes me excited for more games adopting ultra-high frame rates. After going through all of this, my conclusion is clear. Despite the negativity surrounding the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, it absolutely holds its ground. It's definitely not the bad chip people made it out to be. What really matters is how well the manufacturer optimizes it and how the hardware and software work together. Real usage tells the truth. Spec sheets alone don't. And remember, the same chip can behave very differently depending on the brand. In this case, OnePlus did an excellent job at unlocking its real potential. Overall, I'd say the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 performs impressively on the OnePlus A6T. And with OnePlus also offering models powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite and the newer 5th Gen Elite version, there's plenty of choice depending on your preference. Honestly, all 3 Snapdragon chips deliver excellent performance, and OnePlus has clearly fine-tuned them with gaming in mind. So, if you're a mobile gamer looking for a phone that handles games like a champ, OnePlus is a very reliable pick. The next big highlight is battery life, and this phone really stands out here. This model comes with a huge 8300 mAh battery, while the global OnePlus 15R will have a 7400 mAh cell. I've been using it as my daily driver for several days, and I haven't been able to drain the battery in a single day, no matter what I do. This is easily one of the best battery performers I've used recently. Of course, if you're an ultra-heavy gamer, no phone can survive non-stop gaming, but for normal and even heavy daily use, it's incredibly solid. To give you a clearer idea, we ran a full drain test until the phone powered off. From the results, you can see it actually lasts longer than the OnePlus 15 I previously used, which is really impressive. So if battery anxiety is your concern, this phone takes that worry away completely. Charging is also worth mentioning. It supports 100-watt wired charging, though there's no wireless option. Going from 10% to a full charge takes about 70 minutes, which is actually quite reasonable considering how massive the battery is. So with strong gaming performance and top-tier battery life, we've already covered the two most important things for a gaming phone. Now let's look at the rest of the features. Earlier, we tested PUBG Mobile at 165 Hz, which means this phone's display supports a 165 Hz refresh rate. It also uses a 1.5K resolution panel. At this point, the bezel control is pretty good and all four sides look balanced. Some people may argue that 165 Hz is unnecessary because most apps don't support that refresh rate yet. But people said the exact same thing when 120 Hz first came out. Back then, many insisted that 60 Hz was good enough and that higher refresh rates only wasted battery. But look at the market now. Even mid-range phones come with 120 Hz as standard. This just shows how technology moves forward. PC monitors keep increasing refresh rates, and PC games keep pushing higher frame rates. Naturally, mobile phones will follow the same trend, especially as processors get more powerful. High frame rate gaming on phones is absolutely the future. OnePlus has simply taken the lead and we'll see others follow soon enough. There's no need to judge new tech too quickly. Sometimes innovations only get appreciated once they become common. As one of the first brands pushing high refresh rate gaming seriously, OnePlus deserves credit. Now about the camera. Being a gaming-focused phone, most people don't expect much from its camera system. But after using it, I was pleasantly surprised. The main camera hardware is actually pretty strong, and it can even shoot 4K video at 120 FPS, which is rare in this category. I took some sample shots as well, and they look more than good enough for everyday use. With OnePlus's image algorithms, you get nice colors, solid details, and an overall pleasing look. The rest of the phone's features are also quite complete. It has ultrasonic fingerprint unlocking with 4 sensors, meaning you can unlock it with 4 different fingers. That's pretty convenient. The dust and water resistance ratings are extremely high. IP66, IP68, IP69, and even IP69K are all supported. It also comes with dual stereo speakers. I'll let you hear the speaker quality at the end of the video. Finally, let's talk about the design. The purple version I'm using has a metal frame and a fiberglass back, while the black and green models use a silk glass finish. The purple one even has an Ace-themed texture on the back, which fits the gaming vibe really well and feels great in the hand. The camera module is tiny and placed in the top left corner, so it never interferes with your grip while gaming, which is something I appreciate. So after going through all of this, let's wrap things up. The OnePlus A6T starts at 23.99 yuan, roughly 255 pounds in the UK and about $340 in the US. It's clear that OnePlus put a lot of effort into both the look and the feel of this phone. The build quality is excellent, and I personally really like the overall design direction OnePlus took this year. As for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, it's definitely not as bad as some people online made it out to be. Don't just follow the crowd. Real-world experience matters more than numbers on a spec sheet. With OnePlus's optimization and the Peak gaming kernel, this chipset performs extremely well. The phone also includes basically every essential feature: top-tier water and dust resistance, ultrasonic fingerprint unlocking, NFC, infrared, a metal frame, and a capable main camera. For daily use, it checks every box. And when you factor in the large battery and the overall performance, the value for money is honestly excellent. That massive battery alone is enough to eliminate battery anxiety entirely. All right, that's it for this video. What do you think about this phone? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.